Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Dinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadipas Chatyadeshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We are almost at the end of the blessed Kartik month, which is the special month that is bestowing upon us all transcendental blessings, and also we continuously hear about the nectarian pastimes of Krishna during this holy month of Kartik, because for a devotee, his life is all about hearing about Krishna and singing about Krishna. So, Shravanam and Kirtanam, the devotee's lifeline, as we call it. And therefore, in the month of Kartik, it has been recommended that we engage ourselves more in this activity of hearing and speaking about Krishna's pastime. And that is also one of the reasons why we are singing the Damodara Ashtakam every day and showing the ghee lamp to the Lord, who is called as Damodara, the one who is tied around the stomach with a rope. And so in that connection, today we shall just enter into some pastime of the Lord, the Balya Leela of the Lord, which is considered to be the sweetest, and also especially this Damodara Leela, which is like the ultimate in Vatsalya Rasa. How this is unfolding in front of us, and it is, however many times we discuss this pastime of Krishna, it is still very wonderful because of all the wonderful things that are involved in this, in terms of right from the beginning, when Sukadeva Goswami is explaining this to Parikshit Maharaj, speaks about Yashoda. On that day, when this Damodar Leela is happening, in the morning, Yashoda is churning butter while she is singing the pastimes of Krishna. So, as a loving mother, here Yashoda is not singing pastimes of Krishna as a devotee singing about the Lord. No. Here, purely out of motherly love, Yashoda is singing, rather recollecting through song what and what Krishna does, like this. So, Krishna wakes up listening to this singing of Mother Yashoda, singing his pastimes, his glories. So that itself is very pleasing to him as the Supreme Lord. And as a baby, as Yashoda's son, also it is very pleasing to him because he sees it as his mother's love towards him. And then the this, like we are, microscopically examining the Leela and trying to see all the sweetness that is there. But as we discuss it more elaborately, the sweetness also expands accordingly. And then Krishna is immediately as he wakes up, he is hungry and he wants to drink mother's milk, and therefore she will stop churning the butter. That butter is also for who? That is for Krishna only. That butter is for Krishna only. But then she will stop churning the butter, because acharyas say that Krishna went to hold that churning rod of the butter, almost as if you don't stop churning now, I am now going to, spoil your whole churning process. And therefore, immediately, Yashoda, she is taking Krishna on her lap to start feeding Krishna. And as usual, when Krishna is drinking milk from Yashoda, Yashoda is always looking at the beautiful face of Krishna. And also, Krishna is looking so eagerly at Mother Yashoda's face. That is what Vilomangal Thakur is singing in Krishna Karnamritam, this Balam Mukundam, in that stotra. He is singing Alokya Matur Mukham Adarena Stanyam Pibandam Sahasiruhaksham Yachinmayam Devam Anantarupam Balam Mukundam Manasasmarami. So that Supreme Lord with unlimited forms, Alokya Matur Mukham Adarena, he is looking with so much of love and affection. Alokya Matur, that mother of his, he is looking at her. Stanyam Pibantam Sahasiruhaksham. So while he is drinking the Stanyamrita of his mother Yashoda, he is looking at her very lovingly. So this is something that Mother Yashoda alone is blessed in the entire creation. And nobody else is so blessed as she is. And then again we know the milk is spilling over. So acharyas are also of the opinion that that milk is also being boiled, so that it will become curd, and then butter will be churned out of that milk, and Krishna will eat that butter. So it seems one interpretation is that why that milk boiled over, because one obvious reason we all know, the milk boiled over so that Krishna will be put down on the ground by Yashoda, and she will run to take the milk off the fire, which will give Krishna the opportunity to break the churning pot and distribute the butter. Okay. So there has to be some hetu for the Leela to start. So the milk spilled over. Of course, everything is directed by Krishna. We understand that from a very scholarly perspective, but we have to lose that scholarly perspective if we have to actually enter into the sweetness of the Leela. Ultimately everything is done by Krishna. But if you say like that, then you can't ever enter into the transcendental bliss of the Leela. So one explanation by the acharyas is that the milk that was boiling in the pot, it got very jealous of the milk that is flowing from Yashoda. That this milk only is getting the opportunity for direct service. I am not getting opportunity. So that milk, out of all that frustration, that milk boiled over. And because Yashoda realized that that milk is the one for Krishna, and that will be churned into butter. So for this reason also she ran. Your milk also is very agitated because seeing the other milk like this. And thus, then we know how Krishna becomes very frustrated. You know, in Krishna book, Prabhupada writes that Krishna became very frustrated. Now, it seems again the question will come. He is Purna Kama. That means Krishna is completely satisfied in the sense that he can satisfy all his desires by himself. The Supreme Lord does not even require Lakshmi for creation. We know that as Lord Mahavishnu. So Krishna is actually not depending on anything to be fully satisfied. Then why would Krishna, who is also called Satya Sankalpa in the 11th canto, there is Evam Vyavasito Rajan Satya Sankalpa Ishwaraha Shapa Vyajena Vipranam Sanjagre Swakulam Vibhuhu. That is, the Supreme Lord being Satya Sankalpa. Satya Sankalpa means one whose desires always prove true. That means there is no desire that needs to be fulfilled as far as Krishna is concerned. Everything is automatically. Then why would that Krishna become frustrated? Prabhupada is saying that Krishna got very frustrated because Krishna got frustrated only because his devotee Yashoda put him down. While he was enjoying that pastime of drinking her milk, she put him down. So that is only reason for Krishna, the Purna Kama, the Satya Sankalpa, Supreme Lord, became frustrated enough to get into an act of destruction. In Krishna book, Prabhupada says that, Krishna went and got a stone, and with that stone, he broke the churning pot, and out of that, whatever butter was coming out, he took it. He went to the courtyard, and he was, he got on top of a grinding mortar, ulukhala, and then he was distributing it to all his friends, all the monkeys and everything. So how Krishna is now going to make Yashoda very angry? Because this butter stealing pastime of Krishna is something that starts when Krishna starts, walking. Until then, there is no butter stealing pastime. Why? Because Krishna is small baby, he cannot walk. Only when he starts walking, he will go to the neighbor's house and steal the butter. So butter stealing pastime starts when Krishna is slightly grown up. And also, Acharyas are saying, I don't know if any one of us has wondered about this, that why Krishna is always after butter. He is Navanita Chora, no? Navanitam means freshly churned butter. You see, Krishna is from a Gwala community, a community of cowherds, right? And butter is not their only product. Butter is not their only product. They also have a lot of fresh boiled milk available, which is very tasty. And there is also dahi available, which is also very tasty. And then churning the dahi and taking out the butter is also available. So you will never read, there is no instance of Krishna stealing milk or dahi or chas or whatever it is. Krishna is always stealing only butter. Krishna is always stealing only butter. He is makhan chor. No, he is not doodh chor. He is not dahi chor. He is makhan chor. He is makhan chor. Again, acharyas are of the opinion that makhan means that is actually the cream, creme de la creme of the entire milk process. You know, that is why it undergoes so much of process and it undergoes so much of effort to bring out that butter. You know, if any one of us has seen how our grandmothers used to churn, if somebody is here from a village, they would understand this. You know? I am from a village. We also had cows at home when I was a small child. So I've seen how my grandmother, very early in the morning, she would be churning butter out of the curd. You know, my grandmother, and then assisted by my mother, we used to see. And it is a very long process. It, every day there is this butter churning going on, and it is, to the best of my memory, it's about 1.5 hours of hard work, to bring out that butter. And that fresh butter, which is coming out of the cow's milk, dahi made with pure cow's milk, and that butter that comes out it has a very alaukik taste, very wonderful to taste. So imagine this is Krishna and this butter is coming in Gokul and Vrindavan. So this is entirely transcendental Goloka butter. The cows are Goloka cows. The milk is Goloka milk. The dahi is also Goloka dahi. So naturally the butter also is Goloka butter. And it is the essence. So we also know that Krishna is always taking the essence of what we offer. So we have to churn our bhakti and offer that butter to Krishna, because that's what he loves. We don't have to make a show of ocean of bhakti milk. No. Krishna is not impressed at all by that. So there is another butter pastime. Not one, there are many butter pastimes. And there is this wonderful grantha by Kavi Karnapura, who is a follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in our Gaudiya Vaishnava line. And he has written a wonderful book called Ananda Vrindavan Champu. So in that, he discusses this butter stealing pastime of Krishna. So one day, it seems, Krishna, in the beginning of his butter stealing pastime, Krishna that day decided that I am going to steal some butter. So he was going near the butter pot and he took butter out of it. And nearby, because Nanda Maharaj is a very affluent person, so nearby there was a pillar in his house and there were jewels, effulgent jewels inlaid on that pillar. And then Krishna saw his own reflection. Okay, he saw his own reflection on that jeweled pillar. And it seems, now you understand, this is purely Leela perspective, you have to understand. Krishna saw his reflection and mistook it to be another Gopa boy. And he is telling that reflection, my dear friend, don't tell this to my mother. Okay? If you keep quiet, I will give you some part of this butter. Together we can eat and enjoy. And this is Krishna speaking in baby language. And the way I speak is not at all the way Krishna speaks. Of course, you understand that. I am a fallen conditioned soul. But Krishna, in that childhood, in Tamil we call it Madalai, baby language, it's not very clear. But in broken language, Krishna is speaking like this, and Mother Yashoda is having the best of transcendental enjoyment simply by listening to this. And then suddenly Krishna saw that Yashoda is watching. you know. So immediately Krishna turned to Yashoda and he's telling her, see, ma, this mischievous boy, he has come. He wants to steal butter from us. And I told him, don't steal butter. And still he did not listen to me. And I got very angry with him. And he also got very angry. And he says, but I don't want, I am not at all a butter greedy person like this. So Yashoda says, Yashoda tells Krishna that all this butter is for you only. All this butter is for you only, and all butter you can take. So now you see, stealing butter gives Krishna some pleasure. As Yashoda says, not only butter in Yashoda's house, butter in entire Gokula belongs to him only. Why? Because all the cows belong to Nanda. He is a king, no? And he is Nanda Nandan, he is Nanda's Lala, Nanda Lala he is, That means everything belongs to him. And while stealing butter from other gopis' house, it seems Krishna will tell them, actually all this butter belongs to my father, okay? And then the gopi will chastise that, saying that, run away from here, I will go and complain to your mother. So while Krishna leaving from her house after stealing butter, he will say, if you chase me too much, no, I will come back and I will wake up your small baby from sleep and make him cry. Like this, he would be, teasing the elderly gopis, And so when we hear this, no, we think that they will get angry with Krishna. No. They would be feeling ultimate transcendental motherly bliss, Vatsalya Rasa, not only Yashoda, the other elderly gopis also, the motherly level gopis, they're all feeling that same Vatsalya, when Krishna is saying like this. So they make a show of anger, but actually they are not angry. They are all very, very transcendently situated. Now there is another butter pastime. Again, in Kavi Karnapura's Grantha, that one day Krishna, he is in the evening, Krishna starts crying, Krishna starts crying. So he wants something. So Yashoda is, by her eyes, she will indicate to other gopis that you take care of him like this. Sometimes mothers do that, no? When they have something else to do, or they know that, this fellow is up to some mischief. So at that time they will, like this with their eyes. They show to the others, you take care of him like that. So that time, Yashoda showed with her eyes to other gopis that you take care of Krishna. So then some gopis, they ask, one gopi asks Krishna, what do you want? Shall I give you some kheer? Then Krishna says, no. Then somebody else asks, you want some cheese? I will get you cheese. Then somebody asks, you want some, milk sweet, whatever it is. So like this, many questions they are asking, trying to pacify him, saying, what do you want? We will give you. What do you want? We will give you. So baby Krishna, with the small baby hand, is pointing finger to Chandra, moon on the sky, and he's, I want that butter. Krishna is telling, I want that butter you bring for. That butter you bring for me. And again he starts crying. So then they are saying, no, that is not butter. It is not butter. It is one Rajahamsa, they are saying, that is gliding across the sky. So it is not butter. So Krishna says, then give me that Rajahamsa, I want to play with it. Because the moon is moving and they can see the reflection of the moon on the lake. So Krishna is saying, before he crosses the lake, catch him, bring him. And he is kicking his hands and legs and, tantrum throwing and saying, I want, give me like this, So then other gopis said, no, it is not Rajahamsa. It is a moon. It is Chandra, So then Krishna says, if it is Chandra, give me Chandra. I want to play with Chandra. You know? So finally, they go and give him to Yashoda and saying that, sorry, we cannot manage him. You manage him. Like this. Because now he's asking for, you see, there is this phrase, asking for the moon. You've heard, no? You're asking for the moon. Many people in their appraisal interviews, they would have heard this from the boss. You're asking for the moon. If you ask for 50 rupees increment, they will say you're asking for the moon. So that started from the Supreme Lord only, asking for the moon. So now we know. So Krishna wants the moon. So Yashoda says, no. Hey, my dear baby, it is not Rajahamsa. It is not moon also. It is only freshly churned butter. But you see, you look at that churned butter, you see some dark spots, different color spots on that. That is actually poison. Yashoda tells him that is actually poison. So, although it looks so nice like butter, it is nice, it looks like nice butter, but actually there is poison in it. Then Yashoda says, you can see the spot? Krishna says, yes, I can see spot. Then he asks next question, how poison came in butter? He's small baby, no? Like small babies, they are, and then he asks, what is poison? I don't know. Like this. So immediately, Yashoda Mata, she wants to tell him nice story. So she starts Purana, She says, my dear baby, there is one big Sagara called Kshira Sagara. So the moment she said the word Kshira Sagara, baby Krishna, before she can finish that word Kshira Sagara, baby Krishna will say, how many cows made that Sagara? Krishna is asking. You are saying Kshira Sagara, no? It is an ocean made of milk. How many cows it took to make that ocean full of milk? So Yashoda says that ocean of milk not made by cows. So now Krishna says, you are lying. Mama, you are lying. Ma, you are lying. How can there be milk ocean without cow? So Yashoda tells Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who gave the power to the cows to convert grass into milk, that Lord has made this Kshira Sagara. So then he is asking, who is that Lord? Who is asking? Krishna is asking Yashoda, who is that? Then she starts explaining to him, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is Shadaishwari Purna, whatever little she knew, just like we take class now, whatever little we know, we will blabber out everything like that. Yashoda Maya is trying to explain. So then Yashoda says, long ago, there was these Asuras and these Devas, and then they had a, very big churning ceremony in this milk ocean, and there was Vasuki and there was Mandara mountain and they were churning. So immediately Krishna is asking, how did they churn, Ma? Just like you and the other gopis, you are churning butter. They churned the ocean like that. Krishna is asking his mother. So mother says, yes, that is how, churning of milk ocean took place. So then Krishna says, then what happened? So she said, while churning the ocean, they got poison. So immediately Krishna says, how, Ma, again, you are confusing me. How can churning of milk cause poison? When you are churning milk, we are getting butter. When they churned milk, how did they get poison? Look at Krishna, how he is playing with his mother, So then only snakes have poison, no, Ma? So she says, no. First poison came. Lord Shiva drank up all the poison and some few drops of poison fell from his hand, that these snakes, they got it. So then he says, okay. And then she says, this butter that you see, this Chandra butter also was produced by churning of that Kshira Sagara. Chandra also came during the churning of the Kshira Sagara, that we all know. So she says, so that poison that fell from Lord Shiva's hand has gone into this moon also. So she says, so you don't take, we don't want that butter. Just like how mothers say, no, when we don't want to give the children something that we don't want, okay? What I have at home, no, special butter I made for you, that butter you take. Like this, she is convincing Krishna. By this time, Krishna is already feeling very sleepy. You know? So Yashoda immediately took him to his bed and put him in. Already Krishna has gone to sleep. And then next day morning, you know, before Krishna got up, Yashoda is bringing all the butter and dahi and all items for him in the morning itself for him to eat. And then she will wake him up. And she will say, see, baby, I have brought everything for you, Lala. So now whatever you want, you take. So Krishna says, see, yesterday night I was very hungry. I asked for butter. But what did you do? You told me some big lie, big story and made me sleep hungry. So today I don't want to eat anything. And he says, so then Yashoda says, okay, if you went off to sleep so early, then who stole the butter in the night? Like this, she is asking him. So like this, Yashoda and Krishna, they were enjoying this transcendental pastime of this butter stealing. And the stealing of butter pastime by Krishna from the gopis actually increased the transcendental bliss of the gopis. You know, because every time the gopis would come and complain to Yashoda about this stealing butter thing, Yashoda would always tell the gopis that no, my son will not eat butter. He will not steal butter from your house. And then she will always give that regular, excuse or reasoning that, my house, all the butter cows are there, etc., etc., etc. And they will all go back. It is like a transcendental complaining pastime, that every day one gopi will come and say, today he came to my house and he stole the butter. Actually, what is happening is that there is a transcendental give and take between that gopi and the Supreme Lord, where he is going to accept her churned butter, which is her purified, perfected bhakti, the Lord is accepting. And if for many days Krishna is not going to a particular house to steal butter, that gopi would actually feel very sad. Why Krishna has not come for so many days? So this butter stealing pastime of Krishna and this butter giving pastime of Krishna is something that is so transcendental and so sweet that the acharyas have delved into this butter pastime of Krishna in so much detail. And discussion of this butter stealing pastime of Krishna, the acharyas also say that draws one strongly towards Krishna. Draws one strongly towards Krishna. On one hand, what you see or what we see from our point of view is that the gopis are losing their butter. Butter means what? For them, it is their sense of livelihood. What do gopis do? They make butter. Their husbands go and sell the butter, and this is how they do their livelihood. So this baby is going and actually putting a sort of some kind of difficulty into their livelihood if you see it in a very mundane way. Because if you think the neighbor's child is going to come and put a block on your livelihood, what would you do? You would go and tell the neighbor that better you keep your child inside your house, otherwise I'll beat the pulp out of him. This is so in material world it will be. But here they are very sweetly going and complaining to Mother Yashoda, and Mother Yashoda will pacify them, and they are very happily going back. This is the transcendental sweetness of Krishna's Leela that he will play only with his such exalted devotees. So this Vatsalya Rasa of Yashoda and the way Krishna brings it out. The way Krishna brings it out is amazing. not only of Yashoda, but also of all the other motherly gopis in Gokula. Because when Yashoda finally caught Krishna and she wants to tie him up, just imagine, that rope. So Yashoda is telling the gopi who is next to her that, you bring me some very soft rope. I want to tie this boy. At the same time, see, this is not a punishment because she is asking soft rope. Why? Because her first and foremost concern is that the baby should not be hurt in any way. So she is telling the gopi, go and bring the softest rope available. I want to tie. And then gopis are bringing. Now you see, the Leela actually expands like that. The acharyas, the commentators, and the Goswamis, they all speak about how the entire rope stock in the Gokula, that means from each and every gopi's house in Gokula, the rope came to tie Krishna. Now, one way of looking at this is Krishna was tied by a summum bonum of all the ropes of all the gopis' love. Not only Mother Yashoda's rope, but Mother Yashoda is the one to tie him because she is the topmost among all of them. So one elderly gopi is asking Yashoda that today morning only you made him wear that golden belt around his waist. What is the size you know very well, and you are asking for more rope. Why? Don't you know your baby's waist size? And you know the mortar, so you know very well how much rope is required. See, what an astonishing pastime. So on one hand, the gopis very logically they are questioning, and the other hand, in this Ananda Vrindavan Champu, Kavi Karnapura is saying that each and every gopi is coming with rope, and then they are, without looking at Yashoda, they are handing over rope, and all their eyes are glued on Krishna's face. All their eyes are glued on Krishna's face, and how is that Krishna looking? He is looking half crying, half terrified, like this. And Kavi Karnapura is saying, this is what made Brahma and Indra and everyone, they could not understand. How can this Supreme Lord, because on their platform of knowledge, they understand he is Supreme Lord who has come down to Bhuloka for Leela. But one thing they can't fathom is how is he getting afraid? He's doing leaves and standing in front. For them, he is the supreme controller, and they all, shake like leaves in front of him. And he is now standing there shaking like a leaf. And so many village ladies looking at him, without blinking their eyes, all of them are looking at Krishna. And also, all the Gopa friends of Krishna came, and all of them started crying also, just like Krishna, because their friend Krishna has got scared and is crying. Because all these days they were watching him do all the mischief and they were all together in the mischief. Today, finally, the chief is getting caught and he is going to be punished. So, and he is crying, so they all started crying. Children, they have this habit. You catch one child and try to punish him, the other children also will start crying. So, like this, on one side, all the children are crying. On the other side, all the Gopikas, all the mother gopis they are watching Krishna's face in astonishment. They are glued, all the gopis' eyes are glued on Krishna. And so much rope, and Yashoda is now very tired because already, from morning she is churning butter. As I told, butter churning is not some, pilot exercise that modern women do. This is the real proper exercise, the village ladies used to do. So already she has been doing that from morning, and then she was feeding him, and then she had to run to take the milk from the fire. And when she comes back, she sees a total scene of destruction in her house. So acharyas are saying this is one destruction that we like and we enjoy hearing about. The same Lord, when he shows destruction in Kala Rupa to Arjuna in 11th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna himself says that this is the most terrifying scene. I don't want to see it. I can't see it. Here another destruction is being shown. Is breaking all the pots, and all the butter is flowing, and all the dahi is flowing on the floor. You can imagine. For a housewife, that is like a complete destruction scene. So Yashoda is in the middle of that. Whether she will deal with that, whether she will deal with this child who is running, and she is having the stick, and then there is this back and forth between Yashoda and Krishna. She says, you stop running, and Krishna says, you drop the stick, then I'll stop running. She says, you stop running first, then I'll drop the stick. He says, you drop the stick, then I'll stop running. Like this, it is going on between Krishna and Yashoda. And with each of these exchange, their transcendental bliss of the Lord and his pure devotee is increasing unlimitedly. And all the devotees looking around, standing around, for them also the transcendental bliss is increasing like this. So this Damodar Leela, see, it is by no means an ordinary Leela. This is a Leela that brings out all the facets of Krishna's Madhurya. It's bringing out all that wonderful pastime ability of the Supreme Lord, and how he enjoys it and how he makes everybody else enjoy it. And then when we move into the next part, after she ties Krishna, she will tell all the Gopa boys, all of you, please keep an eye on him. I don't want him, do any other mischief while being tied to the mortar, to the Ulukhala. And she will go inside, because poor mother, she is very tired. So she has done little punishment, and now she wants to go inside. The moment she went inside, it seems, immediately, you have seen how children are, immediately Krishna's face, complete face changed. All that fear and blinking and, looking afraid, everything gone. Now with that mortar, he is trying to see what I can do, like this. So then he is seeing the two huge Arjuna trees. And so slowly is dragging and dragging. And then in between, the mortar gets stuck. And Krishna is on the other side, Ulukula is on this side, and two huge trees fall down. Immediately there Yashoda will lose consciousness. Every time Krishna does the Leela, first one to become unconscious is Yashoda Maya. Because she, oh my God, something has, happened to my child. I told all those boys, keep an eye on him, and now I don't know what he's going to do. All the Gopas, everybody will come running, because these are two huge trees standing in the courtyard of Nanda. And then they see that, two fallen trees and the small baby and the Ulukhala, baby tied to the Ulukhala, he is just standing there as if nothing has happened. Because they don't see Manigriva and Nalakuvera coming out and then paying repeated obeisances to Krishna and glorifying Krishna like anything, and glorifying Narada Muni's mercy like anything, saying that, it's only because of the mercy of Narada Muni that we can actually have darshan of you. Otherwise, what have we done in our entire life? To have darshan of you in this baby form. Darshan of Krishna in his baby form is considered to be the topmost. Idam te vapurnatha gopala balam sadame manasi avirastam kimanyai. Sativrata Muni is saying that this Gopala Balam, this Bala Gopala, Lord Sri Krishna is a small cowherd boy, that is the topmost. So that's why Sativrata Muni is saying that, Varam Deva Moksham na Moksham Vadimva. He says, I don't want Varam. You are big Varam giver, I know. You are giving, you are the only one who can give moksha also, that also I know. But I don't want Varam, I don't want Moksham also. What I want, Sadame Manasi Avirastam. He says that, always in my mind, you just be present as this Bala Gopala, that's all. Because moksha means what? Basically, moksha means that you are completely freed from material worries. You know, all material aspirations, all material difficulties, worries, anxieties, you are completely freed. That is moksha, basically. So when Lord Sri Krishna in this Bala Gopala form is always present in my mind, when I can always see Lord Sri Krishna as Bala Gopala form in my heart through my inner eyes, what more do I want? So that is why Satyavrata Muni is very smartly asking, I want only that. I don't want to, why, what would I do by going to Swarga or to any other loka? He also says, Alam Lakshalabha, He says that this is more profitable than getting lakhs and lakhs of benedictions, other benedictions. Is it not? Simply being able to see Krishna performing these leelas, that is the topmost. And that she becomes the topmost devotee because she is the one who has got the best view of all these leelas. Who? Yashoda. She has got the best of the opportunity because she is bathing the Supreme Lord. She is putting the Supreme Lord to sleep. She is chastising him. She is feeding him. The Supreme Lord is dependent on her. Although he is Swaraj, supremely and absolutely and originally and always independent, he now becomes completely dependent on Mother Yashoda. That is why, he has to show anger when she leaves him, while she is feeding him. But we know that Krishna is Purna Kama, Apta Kama, whatever he wants, he'll get. And he satisfies himself because he is Purnamada Purnamidam, he is complete whole himself, he does not require anything. But when it comes to that Leela, when it comes to that pastime, he acts as the baby that he is. And acts completely helpless. And in between also, out of his mischief, he will also show his supremacy as the Supreme Personality, also in between issues. So this is sort of entwined with one another. The baby, the Balagopala aspect and the Supreme Personality aspect comes intertwined in this Leela. And the sweetness of the Leela is in Krishna as the baby, as the son of Mother Yashoda, as the one who is subordinate. So Shukadeva Goswami says that, Krishna enacted this pastime to show that he will be captured only by his devotees' bhakti. That is what Satyavrata Muni is saying, Bhaktair Jitatvam in his Damodara Ashtakam. That is why I said that by chanting the Damodara Ashtakam every day, we can actually live through that Damodar Leela every day of Kartik month. When we chant the Damodara Ashtakam, when we understand the meaning of the Damodara Ashtakam and chant it, then we are actually, directly remembering and entering into that pastime of Lord being Dama Udara. That is why Satyavrata Muni in the last shloka, he says, Namastestu Damne. Dama means that rope. I am paying obeisance to the rope. Why? Tvadiya Udaraya Vishwasya Dhamne. Next line. So because that Udara is Vishwasya Dhamne. That Udara is the sitting place of the Vishwa. The Vishwam is inside that Udaram. And you, my dear rope, you are tied that. So Satyavrata Muni says that I am paying obeisance to the rope. What is the greatness of just imagine the greatness of the rope. And that rope, as I said, that is not a rope that belongs only to Yashoda. It is a rope that belongs to all the gopis. That means Krishna became tied primarily by the love of Mother Yashoda and also by the love of all the other mother gopis in Sri Vrindavan town. Srimad Bhagavatam Grantaraj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Damodar Mahina month ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.